Hello everybody. Welcome. I'm Kristi with my Artful Adventures, and today I am here with the Take 5 group. It's a Facebook group, so I'm streaming on Facebook and YouTube. So if you see comments or you hear me answering questions or responding to people that you don't see any chat for, that's why. But go ahead. I can see both. So if you are on Facebook or YouTube, either one, if you want to chat, I should be able to see the comments. So let me pop myself over one other place here. Oh my goodness, I'm a minute late because of life, right? Oh my goodness. Well, it's not gonna let me put it in there. It says there's nothing that matches that. Well, isn't that just dandy? That just goes along with everything else that's been going on, I guess. Anyway, at the last minute, I grabbed a piece of paper that worked better with what we're doing today, and I thought I had what I wanted, and then when I went to do that, I'm like, that doesn't even go together. So, you know how that goes, right? Try this one more time. Nope. It will not come up. Okay, that's all the time I have for that. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Molly. How are you guys doing? Oh, Cindy's on YouTube. See, I told you I could see that. So, let me see here. Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to get that in over at the Take 5 group. So anyway, this is an event today with Take 5, and we're just each taking a turn today for our event. There's no special theme. Each of us just do, whatever we want to for our crafty goodness. And so today I've got another couple of versions of paper trees. So I know I've shown you several, and so this is going to be another one. And I got out this red cardstock. Oops, hang on, let me put you down so you can see the desk. I got out this red cardstock because I thought it was so pretty, and the first paper that I was playing around with had some little gold accents in it, and I thought, oh, that would be so pretty. And so this actually would be pretty, and maybe I will make one out of that, but it certainly isn't going to be able to show very well with what I was planning. So I think it's, so much better with the little trees that we're going to do if you have something that is a small non-directional print, right? And so just at the last minute, oh, this was the paper I was going to show you. I thought, well, this is a nice green. It's a fabulous green to use. And then I'm like looking, well, that doesn't look so hot with my red paper and my gold. So I'm like, well, let's jump in to use something else, right? Thank you, Melanie. I appreciate that. I never could get it to go over there by myself. I don't know what the deal was. It says it couldn't find the group. So let's see. Already on, and just now notifications show up. Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? So, and I know, well, and if you want to join my Telegram, you can certainly do that. That's a great way to get a notification when I'm going live, is to use my Telegram. Let me see. And my link tree is pinned up at the top of my Facebook page if you want to find that. But anyway, all that aside, let's get going on our project. I get tired of all the techie goofiness. So I'm going to make these to where we could use this for card fronts that are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And so what I'm first going to do is I'm just going to cut this piece to make my 2 card fronts. So let's just do that first. So we'll have that ready. Yep, 5 1/2. Sometimes I do that and then I'm like, is that right? Hey there, Miss Jimmy Lou, how are you? So I've got my 2 card fronts, but some of this gold paper is kind of pricey. A lot of times specialty paper is more pricey. And so if you want to just cut some out, we call it gutting the paper. It sounds kind of gross, but I'm going to just cut this and leave only 1/2 inch around the edges. Whoa! Now that's a problem. So I'm just going to leave about a 1/2 inch. And that's why this kind of a paper trimmer is pretty handy, because it lets you do those measurements like that with its little pointed blade. So I'm just going to cut out 1/2 inch around here. And then one more. How many of you ever do this? You know, a lot of people kind of make a habit of it, I think. But I don't usually. But you know, sometimes specialty paper is a little bit more pricey. And this was a good way to show you how to do that. Thank you, Jimmy Lou. Oh my goodness. I didn't do it exact. So, whoa, here goes my glasses. Let me stick those back out there. So I'm just going to snip this right here because it's okay. And I didn't do a really great job of lining those 1/2 inches up around the edges, but it's going to work out fine because it's still going to be underneath what I'm doing. Look, I could have saved myself a lot of time and effort if I would have measured correctly, right? Always easier if you measure and cut right the first time. So see, I've still got this, and I can use part of this to put under my little sentiment. So that'll be perfect. I don't have to get out any more. Whoops, I almost cut that way too small. So I'm going to do another 1/2 inch here. And then we'll get going. I could have done this already, but you know, it's kind of nice if you're doing something that a lot of people might not know how to do. It's kind of tight. Okay. Phew. Why do some things like this just seem like they take you forever? Do you agree? And I gotta make sure I don't let the paper move. Okay, one more. Oh, thanks, Cindy. Hi, Donna. How are you? Okay, just one more around here. Boy, that one almost got a little too close there for getting its little cut line. I'll probably have to... Yep, I got to do this again. Oh, maybe not. Okay. Ta-da! All right. Now I'm going to cut my red paper. And so the fun things about the trees, you guys, is you can use them for, you know, all kinds of things. You don't have to use them just for Christmas cards. You could use them in scrapbook papers. You know, I think I'm going to cut this way, and then I'll have still a big chunk down there. So this would be my 5.5 inch direction. So just cut that. And then oh, and I don't even want it that big. I wanted it a tiny bit smaller. So let's see, this was my 5.5. So I want this 5.25. About 5.25. It's going to give me a nice, just a tiny bit of sparkle on the edges. And so this is, let me cut my piece. Well, let's see. So this would be 4 inches. I didn't need to put the swing arm out there after all. And my 4 inches. Okay, there we go. Now these will go on here. We'll get this little bit of glimmer sticking out. Look how that is. And so now, see, we didn't need any of that part in there, right? So I think that's kind of a handy trick, you guys. That can be a real saver. Oops, I need this. So I'm just going to set those over here to the side a minute. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and set them together so that they can start to dry. I'm just going to use some regular glue. This is just my reptile glue that I use all the time. You guys are always asking me what glue I use, and I really like it a lot. This is what it looks like. Reptile. True to its name, right? And if I'm not mistaken, it actually had been designed to use like with tile work. And so I tell you, it works great. And it gives you just enough time to get something into place. And yet at the same time, it grabs pretty quick and it really holds well. So I'm just going to put that on there, and then I've got that base done. Let's do the same for the other one real quick. We've got that. Yeah, Cindy, you should give that a try. I think you would really like it. And like I said, it is perfect for using and saving, you know, some of your more expensive kinds of papers. I don't use a lot of glitter paper, but it's sparkly and pretty and great for this time of year, right? Okay, there. Now I'm going to set that over there and it can start to dry. Okay, now then, we're going to make 2 different trees, and both of them just use little squares. And so I'm going to cut my squares at the same time for both of them. I'll just go ahead and use the same paper so it looks good with that red. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, the first squares are 3 inches, so I'm just going to cut it this way, 3 inches, 2.5, and 2, and 1.5. So it just steps down in 1/2 inch increments. So that's easy to remember, right? Where did I get the glue from? Cindy, I just get that glue on Amazon. I have never seen it locally anywhere. And I know when it starts getting cold, they're not going to want to ship it. So if you think you might like to try it, you should probably get it sooner than later, right? So 3 inches, these are our 3-inch squares. And you guys, when I was trying this out, I think a lot of times, I never can remember if I want to get like the perfect square. You really need to remember where you are cutting on your line, or where you're putting your paper on the line. Like when you measure, are you measuring to where you can't see that line? Or is it just to the side of it? Whatever you do when you're trying to cut squares, be consistent. That is what I would suggest. And I might not have been on this. We'll see. And I just thought that because when I was doing this, I had little bits and pieces that were kind of sticking out. And I thought, I bet that's exactly what is going on. So that's the 2.5 squares. Just going to try and keep them together. And our 2-inch squares. Okay. And now our 1.5-inch squares. Still have a little bit of paper left. Always keep your little scraps. You never know what you might, want to use them for. Sometimes you can come up with a great project where you're using your scraps, right? Huh. Well, great, Cindy. I'm glad you're excited. Hey, Susan, how are you? Who else is here? I see Donna and Susan's here. I know Melanie was here. Jimmy Lou. Donna. There's Mary. Molly. Okay. Got lots of our good friends here today. Alrighty. So now let me move some of this out of the way. Now let's tackle our ones first that are kind of like it truly is like a little origami project, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to fold our paper, and I'm not going to score these or anything. I'm just going to fold them by hand, but I do want to have my bone folder here handy to really make sure that we get some good creases. And let me try to zoom in a little bit. Well, that's all I can zoom in. I have my overhead camera up so high so it's not, so you don't see it in my face in the other view. And so no, it's up there high enough that if I zoom in all the way, this is as close as I can get, but that's pretty good. I think that's okay. So we're gonna fold it in half this way, our little squares, and all of them you're gonna do just the same, okay? Or for this tree anyway, okay? So fold those like that. So basically on this side you've made like a little X. See that? You've got an X. Now we're going to fold them corner to corner. And I kind of found out, excuse me, if you will take your corners, take this point, and then just kind of, you know, bring it down here, massage that point in to where it is at its point. That seems to be kind of the easiest way for me to get those as close to being really nice and square as possible. Or that's not, it's not a square. What would you call it? Square. I'm still going to call it squared up, you guys. All right. And now we're going, okay, so I folded it this way. Now we're going to fold it just the other way for our points, our little triangle. Okay, that looks pretty good. And that's what we're going to do. Okay, now we're going to take this, and with it folded like, oh, now you take this and you take, got to think about this. You want it to be square towards you at this point, and then you're going to fold in, make these little tent folds like this. Oh, you guys, saying that is so funny. There is some kind of a fold that you do, and I heard a lady once, and it was almost like this whole camping story she did to tell like the order of the folds, and it was so cool. It was just so clever the way that she did that. Okay, so now then we've got that. Now you're going to take this first layer, just the first layer, and you're going to bring this over to right here, right on the center, okay? And the same with the first layer over here. And this is just a printed, you know, a printed paper. It's printed on both sides. I tend to think that ones that are printed on both sides are a little bit heavier. And now I'm going to use a dab of glue in here. I'm going to put it across this section here, and I'm going to lay those back down, and then I'm going to use a little, I'm going to clamp them, okay? And that'll be done in just a sec, by the time I'm ready to put it all together. So not inside. You want this part still open, okay? So we just did it so those will lay down. Okay, I got to turn my fan on. Whew. Okay, and so we're going to do the next one. So that was the 3-inch. We're going to do that with each one. So again, we'll square it up. Now I've got 4 here. I mean, you really could do with 3 if you needed to. Let's say you had a piece of paper that you really wanted to use, but you didn't have enough to make the 4 pieces. You could do 3. It would work out fine. Okay, and then corner to corner. So you're going to get a chance to see me do the fold. This, I guess this is my, this must be my season of folds. I've done so many things that we have folded, right? I'm always doing a fold, it seems like. And I really don't have any desire to be an origami expert. You would think I'm practicing or something for that. I'm really not. How many of you guys like to do this kind of stuff? Okay, Donna, well that is fine. If you need to re-watch, that'll be perfect, right? Okay, so now remember, when you open this part up, you've got all those squares done. Or not squares, you've got all your lines creased. And let me see, while I've got this open, let me grab, I don't know if I've got a good pen. Here, let's see if this one works. So we're not going to be seeing inside. So you've got this folded this way, it's folded across this way, and then on your diagonals. So that's the way that you're folding all of them, right? I should have done that on a plain piece of paper. You can't even see that one. But that's the way you're gonna, you know, that's all your folds that you need each time. So 4 folds is all. Okay, so now make it sure it's square this direction. Bend your little tent thing. So we've got it like that. And now just go ahead and fold the first layer back over to meet that center fold line that you can see. And sometimes you gotta kind of maneuver it into place. Okay. Now on this one I've got, let me see if you can see it. I've got a tiny bit of that underside sticking out. And you know, if that bothers you, you can certainly just take scissors and trim that tiny bit off, because you're not going to see it from the back side anyway. Although this one makes that kind of makes it uneven. I'm just going to go ahead and trim it right here, because at this point you can. Okay, so we'll do that, and then I'm just going to add my glue in here. You could use, you know, you can use whatever you want for adhesive, but just make sure that it's only on that section. I'm just going to clamp that. And so now that was the 3-inch, the 2.5. Now we're down to the 2-inch. We'll just do that one quick. You know, you could sit around and make these. You could watch TV or something and make some of these, or listen to music. Well, hello, Charlotte. Welcome from the snowy North Pole. Have you seen Santa this year yet? Did you get a chance to go check out the workshop? Okay. So just make sure those are nice and crisp little creases. I just think this is cute. And you guys, you would not have to use these for cards. You could make up some of these. You could use them on scrapbooks and journals, whatever you wanted to kind of embellish with a, you know, some kind of a tree. Now, when I was practicing this, I made 3 of them the right direction. And then I had one that really looked strange. It didn't match, and I couldn't for the life of me figure out why it didn't, you know, why it wasn't working. It was like this section that we're going to do now, it was almost like it was backwards somehow. Well, so I took it apart, I opened it up, I still couldn't figure it out. I got another one and I opened it up that looked right. And this was exactly what I had done. Instead of doing these 2, I had it tilted like this. And, you know, so if you have this point towards you, if you have one of the points towards you, it completely makes it look a little bit different. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And so just by accident, I had made the first 3 the right way. Isn't that always the way? You have big clamps like that? Oh, you guys, I just looked over at my computer and I see there are some of my comments that are not coming into the other side here. Hang on just a second. My goodness. That's kind of annoying. Let me, what in the world? Well, now it's not showing me any comments. When I see Susan's comment about, okay, well, maybe they are coming in. So you went this summer when he and the gang were rested and not hurried. That was a good idea, right? Oh, funny. Mrs. Claus with creating decor. True story. Yeah, my brother was up there one time and they sent a picture to me of him. My brother was like sitting in this little, it was kind of like a little cafe or something. And while he was in there, I don't even think they realized what was in the picture. And when I looked, here's Santa in the background in their little lunchroom. I'm like, did you even know that was, that he was in the background? And they said no, they didn't even realize it. It was a fun picture. Well, look there, you've got something in common. You know somebody, Susan, that lives up there where Charlotte does. Okay, so again, just fold, fold, fold. And then the corners. So this is our last tiny one like this. Okay. And once more. I tell you, if you had papers that was easier to see your creases on, it would sure be helpful. If you get to blabbing like I do here, by the time I'm like, well, wait, where was I? Which ones did I still need? Ah, that's great. Charlotte, it's fun to, go somewhere where they have such great people working there, right? You would hope so. You would hope they would be. This is a tiny one. Okay, so we got our square. Our flat side is toward us. Got to make our little tent here. Oh my goodness. He's a tiny one. And then this part up. That kind of helps you see where that crease is. Or the center line. Okay. You would not, now if you had origami, origami paper is much thinner than our pretty papers that we use that, basically are for card making or scrapbooking. And it would be much easier. I'm going to trim another little piece off there. Now this one's too long. I'm going to have to trim it from this side. I can't do that angle. Do you guys have certain angles that you find are just more difficult for you to try and cut? Okay, so just a little dab of glue in here. Okay. Close it up. I feel like I'm making little packages like that. I'm gonna need one more little clippy. And 2 came out. Okay, so we've got those. So there's the 4 for that. Okay, so while those are making sure that those are nice and stuck together, I tell you, it's hard getting my seat moved in and out anymore, you guys. I did something. I sat down and it broke. It clunked down. It's one of those that will raise up and down, and yet I sat down in it and that was the end. It went down and never did anything else. Okay. This one we're going to fold in half, or not in, well, corner to corner. This one goes corner to corner. All right. And it's just one fold like that. So let's just go ahead and do all of those. And if you've got, well, let's finish this part first. Didn't you tell me it was a Bostik that you know? That comment was not for me. All right. And one more. Oops. Oops, oops, oops. All right. Now then, if you had paper that had somewhat of a directional thing to it, you might want to, at this point, check that out. And I think I kind of will. I want to make sure that I don't have stuff that looks really upside down. And I think there's a good mix of all of this. Oh, look at this. This has got this has gotten a little bit of cotton. You know how picked cotton, the cotton balls? And I think this one I'm going to put up since it's got these up here, but it really doesn't matter. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to fold that in half. And whichever way you want to do it, I like to put my, I think it must be because I'm right-handed. I like to put these this way. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut off a bunch of this. And so you want to kind of make sure that you're going to have kind of an equal amount across here. Not exactly. It doesn't really matter. This can be a little bit lower, and that's fine. But then what we're going to do is we're basically going to do some scallops across here. Like that. It doesn't have to be exact. But this is, you know, where we're going to do it. You probably want to cut your line off. Or not cut it off. Yeah, cut your line off or erase it. One or the other. Okay, so there's that one. Let's do this one. So I'm just going to fold it over here. And again, it doesn't have, I'm going to start from probably around here. And then just grab my little scissors. And then just make some little scallops. You wouldn't even have to make scallops if you don't want to. Okay. And I really have to look over here and you know, kind of make a judgment of where it's going to be okay, because I think just doing it freehand, I wouldn't really maybe be that happy with where it came out. And like I said, on that left side, on the fold, it can be a little bit lower. And then just end at the point. These are fun, Cindy. I tell you what, this is kind of, and you know what? I have even seen more than the ones that I have done this year. But they are kind of fun. And I think the fact that, you know, they don't, and you guys, if you know, trees are all year round. I mean, they don't have to be Christmas. So, you know, then that gives you something else that you would have for some of your embellishments, right? Okay, now I need a little something for a trunk. And I've got a tiny little brown, and I think I'm going to use this one here. I think this will look good with the, even though it's, you know, really rustic and we've got some shimmery stuff, I think it's going to be just fine. In fact, I'm just going to use this dark section over here. And I don't even have to really have a big, and it doesn't matter if it's that straight. I don't know how high up this one needs to go. All right. So now, and while we're at it, let's go ahead and make something for our greeting across the card. So then we can decide where we need to. Let me stamp my greeting first so I know how big this needs to go. And the reason I'm doing this kind of all backwards is because your tree, either one of these trees, you can size up or down lengthwise to what you need it to be. It can be tall or it can be short. And what am I looking for? Here we go. I'm just going to use this same, let me see how this fits across this card. That'll be fine. I'm going to just use this white strip here. I'm just going to do white on the greeting. Let me see here. And I could maybe cut that down a tiny bit. Let me measure a little bit, you guys. I don't want it any longer, any wider than it needs to be. Yeah, I think I can get by here with about 3.5 inches. And this probably needs to be about 5/8 of an inch. Okie dokie. So let's just go ahead and cut it this way first. So 3 1/8, because I can make more of these little greetings. And then, you know, what? Oh, 5/8. I think I said 5/8. Hope so. I hope so. Yeah, that looks about right. Oh my goodness! If you're a crafty girl, I wish I did too. I wish that I had somebody close to craft with. Now, I do have a friend. She lives in my same little city, but she lives way across town. We both live at kind of opposite ends of our city. So I wish that we did live closer too. But it's always fun if you can find somebody to craft with. None of my kids want to craft with me. Makes me sick. All right, let's go ahead and get this inked up here. And hopefully we can just do this, be one and done with the greeting, okay? You guys, I love these. They're called Rock-A Blocks. And they are from Crafter's Companion. Oh, that could be a little bit better. You know what? You guys, now here's a trick for you. If you aren't that happy with your stamping thing, guess what? Paper has 2 sides. It has 2 sides. I'm going to go ahead and just press it into my ink this time. Okay, let's try again. Because I know this can really make a nice image. Okay. There, that's better. For such thin lines, I think it's a pretty crispy, nice image. Okay. Hey, Peggy, how are you? So just get that on there. All right. So I got 2 pretty decent little stamped greetings. Okay, so now these sections need to be, oh gosh, what did I say? This was 3 1/8, so that's not going to be big enough. It needs to be 3, add another 1/4 of an inch. So 1, 2, 3, 3 3/8. Okay, and then it was, what did we say? 5/8 of an inch, I think. So at 5/8, then, whoops, that's the wrong thing. 5/8, so I got to add another 1/4 of an inch, so that would be 7/8. Okay, let's see if I did my math right. Man, you got to really hold that down. Let's see if my math was right, you guys. I live in Texas, in the Fort Worth area. Cindy, how about you? Where are you watching from? Look at that. Okay, so 7/8. Was this my right direction? Oh, look, I lay it down and I don't know. Okay, that's the right direction. So this one needs to be 7/8. I feel like it's a test when I have to do stamping live. And cutting and figuring. It's like, oh gosh, am I going to be able to do it? All right, so here we go. Oops. I think this was the better one. I don't know, that it didn't do much better than the first one I did it? A little bit. Little bit. Oh, in Michigan. I tell you, it seems like we got a bunch of crafters up in Michigan. I lived in Minnesota for a while, so I know what those winters are like up in that area. Okay, and then let's glue this one down. But we're glad to have you today, Cindy, and all of you. I appreciate all of you being here. Okay. Just kind of get that in there. Isn't that little shimmer so pretty? It's just so nice, and that's what I tell you all the time. I really like having my shimmery stuff contained, and I think that is contained. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this down, and I'm going to go ahead and just leave about that same 1/8 of an inch at the bottom. I think that will, whoops. Whew, good thing I had some glue to wiggle it, you guys. Give it a tiny wiggle. Okay. And, you know, even though this has got, you know, this like this, it's going to go on top of a card, right? And so we'll put this one on. And again, about an 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little bit more. Oops, oops, oops. This is why I like liquid glue. Okay, so now we can put this down here. Well, I don't need that to be nearly that tall, I'm sure of it, but I'm just going to go. Well, let's see how this is going to look with our little pieces. Is it going to be way too wide? No, I think that'll look cute, kind of chunky like that. Let's do it. Let's just put it down in there. And this first one, actually, that's probably a good thing that I made it plenty long. Because on this one, you can see right up inside. It's like we're looking up that tree's skirt. Okay, so I'm just going to put that there. Leave about, I think I'll leave about the same amount of that red. Okay, now this one is kind of interesting because we're going to layer it, and we're just going to put it just like this. I don't know, this is going to be, let me see. I don't know. And then we're just going to layer them so they go like this. Oh man, I don't know. I'm not sure I can use all of those. It's going to be kind of tight. You know, I think I'm only going to do 3 of these on this one. Or, I'll tell you what we could do. We could do the smaller ones. I don't know. What do you think? Should we start with the, I don't know. I kind of like the big one. And I still have, we could still have room for a star at the top. I don't know. What do you think? Should I start with the second one or this first one? What do you think, you guys? Oh my gosh. Molly, I forgot. It says it has been, but I forgot to go get it. It said it was ready. Oh my goodness. I was going to go do that on one of my trips out and about. Thank you so much for saying something. Did Molly, your order at Joann's, start with the second one? I kind of like that too. I'm on your page. YouTube quit at 41 minutes. What? Huh. We'll have to check that out. Well, that's crummy. Okay. So just start with that one. I think so. Then we'll have room for a star up there, you guys. So let's do that. And we'll need some time for this to dry. So all we do on this is we just Put a little glue on the edge. And this is kind of different. We don't usually do stuff like this and glue it down like this. Usually we've got some kind of a little tab or something that we're gluing down. So this is a little bit different. So I'm going to pop this down. And where it goes, you know what? Okay, I'm going to wipe some of this excess off. It's like I'll beat it up. You know, I think what would be good is if you had something to dip it into. Okay, let's just plop it down. This is something that where you put it is pretty much where you want it to live. Because if you don't do it like that, you're going to have like smeared around glue. And even if glue says it dries clear, sure, it dries clear, but at the same time, it's going to be a little bit glossy. Most of them are. Any of them I use. So, yeah, I should have put something down and squirted some glue on it and just like dipped it. That would have been a good idea. I don't mind if it dries on the paper. I don't really want it on the card front. I'm all sticky. So kind of where that pops down, then just kind of press it down. I probably needed to have that closer. Okay. The best of intentions, right? And, you know, maybe some of that's in, if you've got a little drop of it or so inside, it might filter down there and be fine. It'll kind of help it stick. Okay, and so this one, I'll plop it right there. Trying to make sure I got room for my star. Now, this is not, you know, I'll tell you this. This is not something that you would really be able to put in the mail and send. It's pretty for something else. You could do a little, you know, decor item, or you could hand deliver it to somebody. But you can't put that in an envelope and it, you know, come out looking like anything, because it's going to be all smashed down. It is cute, and I think there's things that you could use it for, but, you know, you are not going to be able to put it in an envelope and mail it. But, you know, you could put it on a little easel or something, and, you know, it's just cute for at your own house, I think. Okay, so now let's make us a star. I still never have found my two kinds of gold stars that I had laying over here forever. I don't know what happened to them. And then last night I said, oh, I need a star punch. And I opened up my punch drawer, and ta-da, there was a star. Oh, let's put a dimensional under there. I think I'll have to grab one over here. Ah! Let's do that. And a lot of times I like to add a little bit of glue under that dimensional, because they kind of lose their stickiness. And I think I'm going to have to cut it too. It's kind of long. But maybe we can use that for our other tree. It's stuck to my scissors. I can't get it off. Oh. Not more problems with the FB today, you guys. Seriously. Now, yesterday, I had a terrible, terrible time. And, you know, I started over, only to find out later that I did have like a few seconds that had gone to YouTube. I'm like, why did that do that? It told me that it wasn't on there. So I removed that one, and I'm like, okay, whatever. And then I had problems off and on all day. This morning I got up and it's all quiet in the house, and I started doing something, and I noticed everything I was trying to do online was super slow. So I did one of those online, the speed check tests, and it was pathetic. And so I called our internet provider and talked to them, and I talked to the guy about all kinds of stuff going on with it, and tried to figure out what was going on. And finally, and I didn't restart it or anything, and all I ended up doing was taking my cable, because I've got an Ethernet cord that comes from the router across the house, and we have it up through the attic, and it comes out here, and so I try to use that for a lot of things instead of Wi-Fi. And so we just took it out. I told him, I go, there's so many cords out in here, I don't know which one is the one that goes out there. So I came back here, I looked to see which one it was, and then he goes, well, why don't you unplug it and just plug it back in? So I did. I came back out here, and voila, it was working again. I'm like, well, there was an easy fix. We've had one success for the day, right? Okay, so we got that one. Let's get our other little tree done here. What do you think of that, you guys? You like it? Okay, now this kind, let's make this, I'm gonna make this tree trunk a little bit more narrow. Okay, just a little bit. And I'm just gonna use my scissors here. Molly, I can't, that's really weird. Back when they shut everything down and we couldn't go anywhere, a lot of people were ordering stuff from Joann's online. And I had tried to put in an order online, and it said it went through, and I got nothing. And I'm like, and then finally, I don't know how long it was, and they finally sent me something going, oh, we've had to, I can't even remember how they phrased it. Basically, they'd canceled my order. I'm like, well, that would have been nice to know, like a long time ago. Delete and repost. Ugh. These things are a pain, aren't they, you guys? Okay, so now this one. Okay, so these are all held together, so they're these little parts are not flapping up by themselves. Okay, so now we're going to just take these, and we can put these on here, and you just slide them inside each other. You just slide the little pocket in like that, right? And like I said, you can make these you can make your tree as tall as you want, or squish it down. And so I think I don't want it too tall, because I want to be able to put my star on. I want another star. So yeah, I kind of like that. So that's about 1/2 inch or so between those points. So you've got to put something. They're not going to just stay there by themselves. So we're going to have to put a little bit of glue on, or you could put a glue dot, or whatever your favorite thing to use for adhesive. And I'm just going to put some up here on a little point right there. You can see where I just put it up in there. And then I'm just going to slide it in this one. I don't know, I might have more glue sticking out than I needed on that. No, yeah, see, that's okay. That's okay. I'm going to be putting it down onto the card anyway. So just enough. And I like this because, again, it's going to give me just a little bit of time to maneuver it into place where I want it. But aren't these are fun. Now these you could certainly pop in. Oh, I don't need that. Oh yeah, I do. These you can certainly mail. This would be mailable. But you could make it kind of short and squatty like this. You could pull it apart a little bit. Or you could make your tree trunk. And this, I maybe could get it apart a little bit farther. Oops, I got something. I got crookedness. You pull that up a little bit. Okay, that one's already stuck. There's no change in that. Okay, so there we go. And then, you know, you could make it a long tree trunk. Let me put some glue. I'm just gonna put some glue. I don't want to get it too close to the edges in case I need to maneuver it. Okay, and I want enough for my star. So I'm just gonna put it like that, kind of make sure. Oh, and you want to make sure these are lined up. That one. That's gonna have to do. It's gonna have to do, you guys. Okay. Which side? This side or the other side? You may not do it again. Yeah, Molly. That's really weird. Yeah, this will be my first time of doing that. I hope when I go over to pick that up, I hope it's actually there. That's what I have to say about that. You guys, let's see. Following me is going to be Kristi from Funky Junk Inspiration. So, and I know she tries to, she does hers on Facebook and YouTube as well. So Funky Junk Inspiration, we're going to go over there and check out what she's got going on today. And this is the Take 5 group over in Facebook, and I think I actually put a link to it for anybody that's on YouTube, or well, anybody. It'll be on both platforms, so you have a link right to the group. You know, that's another thing. I've been having a lot of trouble with my groups showing up. And thank goodness some of them I've got, you know, links, or or I know enough people who are posting in some of those groups that I can easily, you know, click on it and get to it from something that they post. I don't know what's going on with that, but I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Okay. I got that squeezed out there and got glue everywhere. Okay. I know sometimes I feel like I kind of go overboard with the glue, but you guys, I used to make cards and send them to my mom, and by the time they got to her, a lot of times they had fallen apart, and she would like try to put them back together. And after she passed away, we were going through stuff because she kept every handmade card that anybody had given her. And I was going through some of them, and I had found some of the ones that I had made her that, you know, she had to put back together. Some of the ways that she had put them back together were kind of humorous, knowing how they were supposed to be. But she had done her best, and, you know, she gave it a good old try. But here you guys go. What do you think? Two more different kinds of ways that the little trees are. So that's, you know, that's got a lot of dimension. And if you wanted to really, you know, smash it down there so it wasn't doing that, you could put a little bit of, you know, adhesive underneath the tips of these and put it down. But I like how it gives it some dimension from the front, right? I love it. And then this one, this is just kind of cute. You know, just kind of a simple thing. I would have never really thought too much about putting those and gluing them on like that, but they're stuck on there now, you guys. I mean, that tiny bit of glue on there, there they are. But you guys, thanks for joining me today, and let's go over and see what Kristi is doing over at Funky Junk Inspiration. And I will see you on Friday. I'll be back on Friday at what time? At 11 at noon Eastern. I'll see you then. Have a great day. Bye bye.